This is what it looks like after it's been dried. The inside is a little bit splotchy. I ran out of dye midway through, so I didn't get it as covered as I would normally like to. But I'm covering this up, so this doesn't bother me at all. And I'm covering this up with a napkin. Now let me explain to you what I did. A couple months ago, I tried to put a napkin in my faux dory that I had been using. As I was testing it out, trying to see what would happen to do if I did that. And I wanted to have a good test going, and I wanted to have enough samples to be able to come on here and tell you about it. My first test was this right here. Don't look at the books, it's just holding the book open. This was a napkin on here, and at first it was fine, but I continued to do more tests on it and it messed it up. But what I learned from this is don't use Mod Podge as a sealer or to place a napkin down. Mod Podge, if you use it to go on first, this napkin is this napkin. If you do it first, it makes it too dark. You can hardly see it. It does bubble, and it bubbles when it dries as well. And you just can't see the image. And it dries hard. Now, I don't know if it'll do it right now, but normally you can hear it crack. Of course not. It's not going to do it. But it does crack. This one, I use just regular glue stick. I put it on there, I let it dry, and then I sealed it with the same glue stick. Now what you're going to get when this happens is, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. See these tiny little cracks there? That is going to happen. Even with the one we're doing now, these cracks are going to happen. It is going to look like this, kind of. Now this is a lighter colored napkin. I particularly don't like the look of the lighter napkin, but that's what I used for these tests. I'm happy with this look. It's fused well enough that it doesn't, you have to really work hard to pull this up, okay? It's very, you have to work hard. I don't think this will last forever, but it will last as long as I want to use this book, and probably longer. This was the regular glue stick as well. I did a lot of peeling. I left pieces hanging up so that I could test it. I've done a lot of tests on this, and it held up great. Now last night, for my one final test, I wanted to try Mod Podge on top of a glue stick to see how well it would work. So as of last night, this was Mod Podged with this. This is what I used. I would not suggest it. I will not do that. I will continue with the glue stick. Reason being, you might hear this one crack now. Can't hear it crack. No, but it cracked earlier. Oopsie. So sorry. But you can see all the little cracks in it. And it does give the appearance of it being old. And really, are you going to bend your leather this far back? You might. You might roll it back. But this is on there very good. You have to work really hard to pull it up. Trying to get it. So, but that's what it looks like. And that is what I'm going to put on the inside of my book. Here is the one I have here. Now the one I did yesterday, I put that bad boy on crooked. So, this not really perfect. This is glue stick color's not really that well in here. You will get, again, some of the coming up. But so far, I do know that it will hold. I just ripped the napkin. You can't tell here, but there's still, I ripped, and I even sealed all the way up to the edge. All the way around I sealed this napkin in. Just with the glue stick. This is all with the glue stick. Now, I'm going to show you how to do that. This is all based on whether or not, this is up to you. You don't have to do it. You don't want to ruin a perfectly good traveler's notebook that you own. It very well could ruin it. Myself, I'm doing it. I did it to my own. I'm happy with it. And I probably would continue to do it. So I'm just going to show you that. I'm going to show you what I did to my own. If you'd like to do it to your own, go for it. But don't blame me if anything goes wrong. I cannot promise that it will last forever. But like I said, the tests that I had done, I started them, I believe it was in October. And I've been testing many mediums to go with it, even regular old techie glue. So let's get started, and you will be using a lot of glue. I suggest a permanent glue stick and not a washable glue stick. They have many different brands. This is just the one that I'm using. But you will use a lot because you need to be very generous and cover every inch of it. You cannot leave any place uncovered or it will create a bubble. Okay, let's go. Okay, I picked the napkin. I'm going to actually be using the same napkin. I picked these napkins up at the Dollar Tree, the dollar store. And I kind of want this picture over on this side, on my left side. So even though it's a little bit wonky, that's what I'm going to do. So it's going to look like this. Most napkins come with 1 or 2 extra plies added to it. It's the white background here. So you definitely are going to want to pull those off. Now me, I've only ever, so far, had a napkin that was 1 ply. But you never know. See, they're fused very well. Sometimes you're like, nah, there's nothing there. Well, yes it is. Throw this away. Or use it. Wipe your mouth. I mean, after all, I did have lunch. And that's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to loosely measure it because I do not want it to go to edge. What I am going to do is learn how to speak. I'm going to rip the edges because I kind of want them a little bit just ripped edges because it's not going end to end and I don't want that rough, I just don't want it so crisp there. I want it a little bit to fade in with it. So I'm just going to pull it. Just rip, just like this. But I'm going to measure it. Let me cut this down because I don't want this whole napkin. I only want the bottom half. Let me cut it down and figure out where I need to be and then I'll be right back. I cut the top off and now I'm just loosely trying to measure what I need. I just lay it flat across my leather. Try to get it as even as possible. And then I just finger crease it so I know that's where it needs to go. This is the wrong napkin. I wanted the other half. That's not the right... Where did my napkin go? Ay, ay, ay. Here we go. This is the right napkin. Let's do this again now, shall we? I'm going to pull this to the edge and do it because I'll be ripping half that off. So, and then just going over here to this edge, trying to get it, and just finger it down. So I know, just glancing at that when I rip, I'm to roughly follow this line. Go in a little closer than the line. For instance. Now I can move my leather. Here's the crease. And now I'm just going to kind of rip it. I didn't really think it would follow the crease so well. I might have liked a little bit of variation in it, but that's okay. It's It's all good. It's all good in the neighborhood. Okay. Now the bottom, I don't want this little border it has. And that, because I know it's just the bottom, I'm just going to rip close to the border. I don't know if you can see this very well, I apologize. Just keep ripping. Doesn't matter if you crinkle the napkin up too much. I'm just still ripping. So I'm going to continue to do this all the way around my napkin. Okay, I finished wrapping mine. Ripping. And I had to go back over a couple times. I would just lay it out on my book here, on my leather, to see if it would fit. And it does look like it would fit. Enough rips and stuff so that it looks like it would fit. And hopefully I can get this one on straight. Hopefully. But we shall give it a try. So, as you can see, it fits my leather. And now comes the gluing part. And I glue just little sections at a time because glue sticks are known to dry quickly. And like I said, you need to be very generous. So you need to go over the area multiple times. And even though I'm not going all the way to the edge with my napkin, I glue all the way to the edge because I don't want to miss anywhere. And the glue leaves somewhat of a sheen on it. It'll just have the sheen all the way to the edge. So to start, I just go to an area first. Very generous when I start, and then I will keep going back over that because I need to look and make sure every little fiber in this leather has glue on it. The little divots, the little holes, everything has glue. It's very important. You will be using a lot of glue for this. A lot. One tiny glue stick probably will not cut it. This is a larger glue stick. It's not the jumbo, but it is also not the small. This needs to be very wet, and you don't need big clumps though. You don't need like mountains of it on there because that will stay a mountain under your napkin. Okay, that looks covered to me. Let's get going. Pardon my dog, he's barking at something now. This is where I have a little bit of difficulty trying to get it even because I don't want the glue to dry. So I'm just going to get somewhere and lay it down. Just like so. It's already started to lay down, so I'm a bit doomed. It's higher than I would like. It's not perfect, but that's what. Get rubbing this on here. Get this on here very good. Get those edges down. You can sometimes give it a little pull, but not much. It is a napkin. It's very, very tender. I have glue on my fingers. I don't want to rip it. So just very gently do what you can to work it. If you rip it, you may be able to lay it back down where it needs to be. I have lucked out and had that happen before. Try to get all the creases out that you can. I have glue on my fingers, and I don't want, like I said, to rip the napkin, but I do want to get them edges down. I want them down good. I don't want any sticky uppy. Sorry if I'm off screen or anything. I'm just trying to work this. Get it on there. Okay, I think I got that on as good. Yikes, I glued on my finger. I think I got that on as good as it's going to get for the time. That's 1/3 of it. Or 1/4, depending. So, now when you go to glue back again, be careful because the edges are still wet. You don't want your napkin sticking to it this way. That would not be good. So maybe just, I don't know, just be careful. So I'm going to start. Now I need to work up close to the napkin, but And I'm sorry I keep hitting the tripod. But I'm not going to worry about that yet because I want to be a little bit more careful not to stick the napkin down on the other glue. Like that. This is an amateur tutorial, everybody, so when the failures happen, you're a part of the live action. Live. Well, it's not live. It's live to me. It's not to you. Every bit of it. Nothing left undone. Not even a little hole. And you got to move fast, but as long as you just keep going over it, you'll be all right. You might want to change the lighting so you can see now. Right now I'm going to go work up under this napkin and make sure I get that every bit. I need to get right up to it so that even there's no hole where I glued. All the way. Very generous. Very generous. Okay, here we go. Again. So scary. And then we'll see how crooked I got. I got pretty crooked there, guys. But, you know, for tutorial's sake, I gotta move fast. And I'm not even sitting down. Of course, I don't think I was sitting down when I put the other napkins on. I think I gotta stand up to get a bird's eye view. I've no excuse. That's just what happens. I don't think it looks too crooked. Just up high, like I said. But I think that's okay. Get those edges down. Okay, I'm going to finish this so you don't have to keep watching. Be right back. That's what it looks like when it's all glued down. I have some tiny wrinkles in here. That's okay. There's no avoiding that. I've got all the edges down. Make sure all the edges are down good. You might want to go around and making sure there's no lift. One you forgot. If there is, just lift it up a tiny bit. Pop a little glue stick on it. Put it back down. My fingers are full of glue. Be careful because as you're touching this and if you have glue on your fingers you could lift it. Not only lift it but rip it. Now I'm going to let this dry for a bit now because I want the whole thing dry. And then I'm going to go over it again with this glue stick. I'm going to use this as a sealer now. This will now seal the top of the napkin in same glue stick. I've used quite a bit of it. Probably will end up using the whole thing. Maybe. Maybe not. So I'll be back to show you that and then continue with the tutorial. Okay, now it's dry. At least it's dry to the touch, and that's okay. That's fine. According to my experiences, that was fine to do. Now I'm going to cover this up very generously again. Being careful again for getting glue on my fingers and touching this. Still have to be careful. And again, I'm going to go all the way to the edges because I'm going to use, you know, you're going to see the different color by not doing it to the edges. And I want it all to be uniform. So even the gloss will go to the edges. And this will help seal down that napkin and even protect it a little bit from the wear and tear. It's still going to get bumped, crack. It's still going to crack, but it's going to be so fused to the fibers that, as I showed you, it won't come up as much. It won't peel up. And when it peels, it begins to look like an old book, an old antique book. And it's kind of a nice look, I think, to it. Again, I'm being very generous. Oops, I got lumps there. I don't necessarily want those lumps. So if you get your finger in there where the glue is really thick, you can move around, you can glide over it without the risk of ripping anything. But if you start feeling it get a little bit tacky on your finger, stop doing that. Because that is when you take the risk of ripping. Okay, we'll keep going. Now if you do, again, get to the edges. If you do think that after all this is said and done, and you can see some pieces maybe that might need a little bit more glue, put a second coat on, by all means. And it's not going to hurt it, it's just going to help it. Get to the edges. You can probably rub that in too to make sure it gets every spot. Because we do want that. And this does dry clear. I'm sorry if I'm getting out of frame or anything. It's just I'm limited to where I can touch now. It's getting very wiggly. I just want to, my fingers have glue on them, not good. La la. Almost done. I'm sticking to the book now. But that's okay, I'll stick into the edge. I'm okay with that. At least I don't run the risk of pulling anything up by sticking to the edge. Alrighty then. Now I'm going to let this dry. Make sure. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting everybody's way. Oopsie! Let that dry. And see what happens then. Alright, it's all dry now. I covered the top with the glue stick. I let it dry for a while. I think a good hour. Sorry about the lighting, but this tutorial has taken all day due to drying times and all that good stuff. So this is what it looks like now. See how it kind of has a sheen to it from the glue stick? But it is dry. And now I'm just going to gently, very gently, this will wrinkle the spine. This will wrinkle that napkin some. If you're unsure of it, you can wait for the glue to cure for a whole day. I never have, so I can't tell you if that would work better or if it would crack. So I don't know. But here, I'm just giving it a bend in the middle. Nice little bend there. And not much happened to the spine. I don't know if you can tell. It did get a slight, hardly anything of a crease. But I also was very gentle. If I smashed it real hard, maybe a big difference. But now we are going to thread it with our elastic. If I can, there it is. With our elastic, again, 2mm. Now the way I do this, I just pull a bunch off the roll, what I think I'll need. And the way I did my holes actually uses more elastic than had I gone side to side. But that's okay. I preferred it this way. That's the way I'm doing it. Now, there's no surefire, easy way to do this. I always start with the top hole with my elastic. I wonder, let me think about this a minute. Okay, I actually ended up cutting my piece of elastic. I took it around the spine. I went 3 times around. And that should be plenty. And depending on what size of book you use, that should work. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go down through the top hole. Because that's the one it's the one closest to the edge of the book. You can start at the bottom if you'd like. I'm going to pull it all the way through till I have just a little piece there, because I'm going to be knotting that in the middle with the last one. Like so. So I'm just holding on to that because I want to hold the tension, because you are going to be pulling this pretty tight. I'm sorry, I keep going out of camera. And now I'm going to take my elastic and come up through the hole right next to that one, right under it. Okay, I can't do it that way. Let's see, right here. And then I'm going to go to the other hole, not the center hole, but I'm going to go to this hole here. The one that's above the other one. And then I'm going to come up through the bottom hole. I'm going to pull this kind of tight. I want some good tension on that, almost to the point where it possibly even bows the leather. Now I'm going to take this and go all the way up the spine to the top hole again. Give it a good pull. Hang on to it with when I'm holding on to the other one, and go down through that second hole again. I'm gonna do this off camera because I can't see. I gotta pull this real close to my face. Okay, I got them all in. See, it kind of bows a little bit, but I want them that tight. You can pull and adjust, however. Now I'm going to tie the knot. I do have a little bit extra left over, so you could probably go around your book. Instead of 3 times, go around 2.5. 2.5. Now I'm going to tie it. And I always like to leave, I'm weird, I'd like to leave a little bit of a bigger tail just in case something happened and I need to undo this. So I'm going to leave that, probably leave this much as well. Have that much left. And now, that's not a spider, that's a little piece of the elastic I pulled off. So now, I'm going to take the books out of here because I don't have any extra books. This is a traveler's notebook on a budget, guys, gals. I'm making a huge mess. Sorry. I could spend the money on a traveler's notebook and not get any good fun stuff to play with, or I could buy a real one, or one of the nice ones that a lot of people make, and I wouldn't have any money for goodies. And I want money for goodies, so I always make my own stuff with what I have. Budget comes first. I like to eat. So I'm just adding my books in here. I've only did enough for 3 books, but you can add books later. And there's another, without the extra string, there's another way that you can add a book. I apologize. I'm making a mess here. Sorry, everyone. But here you have it. Here is... I forgot the middle elastic. Let me go do that real quick. Alright, now we're going to add the elastic to the inside through that hole. And this is what it looks like now, all threaded up. That napkin fused really well to the leather. My husband says he actually prefers the crackled look. And I'm sure after I start bending this around and going crazy with it, it'll get crackled, but I actually like it this way, so I'm not going to purposely try to do it yet. The other ones I've bent forward, backwards, inside out, everything I could do to get it, you know, that was in the trial. Before I wanted to tell anybody about it, I wanted to put it through the wringer. So I pulled this through. Now, before you do this, if you want a charm, this would have been a good time to put it on and then just strung it back through. But I don't have a charm. I need to get me some charms for these things. So, don't let it go all the way through. You want to pull it back through because you want some leeway to make the knot. So just put your finger in there. Keep it from coming through. Okay, I have enough now. And I am just going to go across here. Just I'm just going to try to make a knot. I'm going to pull it tight. I'm going to grab the back so I don't pull it through. And bring it down as far as I can to the bottom, because I didn't make it with much leeway. Being chinchy, trying to save on the elastic. And I do apologize for how long this tutorial is. I tried to do it quick. Maybe I should have did it in 2 parts. But, alrighty. We have that on. Yep, that's perfect. Okay. So let's put our books in now. Again. And now, if this works out well, I can trim these little knots down so I don't have such big danglies. Danglies. Oh my, that reminds me of something. I'm using the tall ones. I'm not using the little ones. Maybe later on I'll have something to use those old ones for, but right now I don't. Now we are done. This is a completed traveler's notebook with an inside cover decorated. Oops. The napkins all the way through and through. And it looks fabulous. Well, thank you everyone for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll try to answer them as best I can. And I apologize for hitting the tripod. And I sure would appreciate it if you thumbs up my video and even subscribe to my channel. Thank you everyone. Bye.